Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Learn to Play Games. I'm here at the CMON Expo 2018. This is our first day here, and I'm going to sit down with Sean, and we're going to take a look at Blue Moon City. This is one of their new titles that's going to be coming out later this year. So Sean, can you tell me a little bit about what this title is?
Yeah, for sure. So this is Blue Moon City by Dr. Reiner Knizia, and Blue Moon City is a city that has suffered many, many years of war, but the wars have finally come to an end, and now it's the time to rebuild. So you're controlling one of 4 different factions, and you're moving around the city, making contributions to the rebuilding process to some of the different buildings around the city. And so on a turn, what you're going to do is move, if you'd like to, and contribute to a building if you would like to as well. And the way we do that is you're going to have a hand of different cards that represent people of the city, and different sections of the city require a different type of card and a different power level of those cards to make contributions. So, for example, if I want to rebuild part of this building here, I'd have to discard 5, 4, or 3 of like that type, that color of card to make that contribution. And so, I mean, I make one contribution there, and somebody else might add one here. And once the final level of reconstruction occurs, we're going to get some rewards. So the person who's made the biggest contribution is going to get a bonus reward. And then everybody who's made any kind of contribution is going to get a reward. And then also, it benefits us to rebuild in neighborhoods that have already started the reconstruction process. So anything that's orthogonally adjacent to us that's already been rebuilt is going to give a bonus to anybody who's contributed as well. So it tends to centralize the rebuilding process, but makes those areas highly competitive as well. Okay. Also moving around the city, we've got these dragons, and so these dragons are actually beneficial. They're like ancient guardians of the city, and so if we do a contribution in the same space as one of the dragons, we're going to get a golden dragon scale. And what this is it's kind of like a limited resource in the game. And when all of these run out, we're going to take a look at how many everybody has, and the person who has the most of them is going to get a bonus. And then anybody else who has a certain number is also going to get a bonus. And then they all go back and we start earning them again. Okay. Yeah.
So let me jump behind the camera. I'll take you guys in. We'll get a closer look at everything so you guys can see all the details of this really interesting game.
So we've got the layout of the Blue Moon City here, and you can see these components here are all prototypes, so still subject to change. But you can see we set up the board randomly each time we play, but one thing that's always in the center is the Citadel. And so everything that we do in this game is leading us to earn these different crystal tokens here. And these are very important because the ultimate goal of the game is to reconstruct the Citadel in the middle of Blue Moon City. This is a sign of our wealth and prosperity and strength, and so that's of the utmost importance for us to rebuild it. And we're going to rebuild that instead of by discarding cards, by discarding crystal tokens. And the ultimate goal of the game is to be the person who has contributed the most to the Citadel in the center of the city. And as soon as a player has hit a certain number, depending on the player count, of contributions to the Citadel, they'll win the game and the game will be over. So while most of the action of the game will take place in the city itself, we're really, our ultimate goal is rebuilding the Citadel, which sits in the center of the town. So each of these different buildings requires a different type of card to rebuild it. So, I mean, if I'm in the red section, I need like a red of the amount that they're requiring or more. It's okay to repay, you just don't, or to overpay, you just don't get any change for that. So different cards have, will go to different areas, but then also the different cards have some special abilities as well. So some of them will help you as you're moving around the board. So for example, some of them will help you move the dragons around, and as we mentioned earlier, those will get you the golden scale tokens, and so there's a benefit to that. Some of them will allow you to move your pawn extra spaces. You only get 2 movements, and sometimes you need to get to the other end of the board. So sometimes you'll get extra movement or be able to put your pawn anywhere. And then some will help with the contribution process. So some will turn other cards into wild cards or allow you to contribute multiple times to the Citadel. Normally, you're only able to contribute there once. So these cards, you have to decide whether you're going to hold on to them and use them for the contribution that they provide, or discard them for the special ability that they provide. And so that's kind of one of the tensions in the game, like how to best manage your hand. So a turn, the way it looks like is you'll do your movement. If you want to move, you'll do your movement, and you'll make your contribution if you want to make a contribution, or if you're able to make a contribution. And then finally, you'll refresh your hand. So when you refresh your hand, you'll discard as many cards as you want to discard from your hand, and then you'll draw up 2 extra cards than the amount you discarded. So if you discard 0 cards, you'll draw 2. If you discard 3 cards, you'll draw up to 5. So very simple, but also if you've got a bum hand that's just not going to help you out in that particular situation, you can dump everything in your hand and get a whole bunch of new cards in there. So it gives you a better opportunity. So yeah, this is a reprint of an older game. We're very excited to have to be working with Reiner Knizia on like an old classic of his.
So the second game we're going to take a look at today is Gizmos. This is another new title from CMON, and so tell me a little bit about what this one is. It looks like we got some marbles here. It looks like another one that a lot of people are going to really look for and enjoy. So what is the premise of this exactly?
Yeah. So the idea of Gizmos is we are inventors, and it is the annual science fair. And so we're going to be working to create these different new fantastic inventions that are going to kind of come together and create an overall machine that is hopefully going to work together with a lot of synergy so that we can win the science fair and prove we're the best inventor out there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we start off with all the same skills. We've got the energy dispenser, as you said. It's got great table presence, beautiful energy balls coming out of there. And so we've got our energy ring here, and right now we start with the capacity to hold 5 energy balls in there.
Okay.
We've got the ability to file one of these gizmos away. We'll explain that in a second. And we've got the ability to research 3 cards. Okay, so that's kind of like our starting base ability. And on a turn, what's going to happen is we're going to do one of the 4 different possible actions. We're going to file one of these gizmos. So basically, filing means we're going to take one from the face-up display and secure it for ourselves, and at a later time, we'll be able to buy it. But that means it's ours and nobody else can buy it. So that's filing. We are going to pick. So picking means we're going to take an energy ball from the energy row and put it in our energy ring. And now that is something that we can use towards the building of one of these gizmos.
Okay.
And then the next action, luckily enough, is build. So we can spend one of these. So if I've got a blue energy ball, we can look, and the cost of this one here is 1 blue energy ball. So I know I can pay for that. And when I buy a new card, what I've got here is it tells me where in my dashboard it's going to go. It tells me the special ability, the cost we already know about, and the points it's going to be worth at the end of the game. So I would put that down here, and now I know that I've got this special ability, which in this case means one of my yellow energy balls in the energy ring can be a wild one. It can be anything I want it to be. When we build, build special abilities can be different things. Like, for example, when I do a building, if I build a red one, I'm going to get a point. So there are ways to get points and tokens, as well as on the gizmos themselves. And so these abilities will stack throughout the course of the game. So you'll get stronger and stronger the further you go. And so now when I do a build action, I just have to look down the row here and see what special abilities I get. And sometimes they'll shoot off and sometimes they won't. But it's very easy to read, and the iconography is very easy, so you very quickly can concentrate on building that engine and, proving that you're the best inventor.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump behind the camera, and I'll get you guys a closer look at this new cool game.
So as you can see, the gizmos that we're going to build throughout the course of the game come in 3 different levels. There's the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s. And as you can guess, the 1s are less expensive to build, but not quite as powerful as the 2s and 3s. And so throughout the course of the game, it's going to come to an end when one player builds 16 different gizmos, or one player builds 4 level 3 gizmos. And some of the level 3 gizmos are quite interesting. Like, for example, this one here, it requires 7 energy balls, but they can be of any color. And the points it's worth at the end of the game are equal to the amount of points you've got in energy tokens. So it's kind of like a variable end game scoring card. And this one here is just, it gives you a special ability, and it's worth 7 points. So it's very expensive, and you have to specialize in red energy balls to be able to afford it. However, it's worth quite a lot of points for you at the end of the game. So, finding the synergies between the gizmos that are out there and what you've started building is the key to the game. And one really good strategy to go for is the research strategy. So if I'm looking for a particular gizmo and it's not out here, I start off with the ability to draw from any pile 3 different gizmo cards, and I can immediately either build or file one of those cards, and then I have it for later use. So it's all about finding what works together, which is what a good inventor is going to do.
All right, well, thank you, Sean, for taking us through these. This is the first look at a couple of these games over the weekend. This is the first day, so I'm going to be doing a lot more coverage for you guys, so stay tuned for that. I have a lot more games, and CMON has a lot more games that they want to show off, so I'm going to have coverage throughout the weekend for you guys, so you can see all these different exciting things, and I'll also be trying to play some of these out on the floor. I'll try to get some shots, some tweets out on those to let you guys know what my opinion is, what I think of these games, so you can take a look and look forward to those. So thank you, Sean, for taking us through this. When should we expect to see this one, potentially? Is this another one that'll come out later this year? Or
Yeah, later this year. We're hoping for, it'll be August, and we're hoping for Gen Con. We're hoping it'll be available for Gen Con attendees. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, definitely take a look at this one if you guys get a chance. This one looks exciting, and I'm definitely going to be trying this one out on the floor as well. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining us.